All right, welcome to Friday Reads, where I talk about what I read, what I'm reading, what I hope to get to next. What am I doing? Goodness me, oh my. I have finished Fledgling. We'll start there. Because I think that's the only thing I finished, right? Maybe? I don't know. My brain's a blur. Should I have taken notes? Maybe. But I spent all my brain energy just filming the Octavia Butler video that's going to come out next week, which is longer than it should be, but I don't even care. Butler deserves it. That said, I finished Fledgling. Hot take? It's a very happy Butler for a Butler. Actually, it might be my happiest. It's not the least disturbing. I mean, that's for sure. But I really like the ending of it. I'm very confused. I feel like I was not properly prepared for what was in this book. And I think part of that is that, rightfully so, people really get focused on the fact that our main character looks like, she is 10. And she forms romantic relationships with people who are not 10. But, I think there are two reasons why this doesn't bother me. One, this is not actually a vampire story. It is sort of vampire, but, I thought that this person was turned into a vampire when they were 10 and then just had lived for 50 years before they got their amnesia. That's not the case at all. This is a species that it's not like our vampire knowledge where you get turned into a vampire. This is just a different species of humanoidness. And in her species, which is not our species, so I should not put my morals on that species, hypothetically speaking, she's allowed to have sex. That's just a rule in her society. She's not allowed to form mate spawns with other people in her species yet. She's not old enough for that, and we don't cross that line. But she's allowed to just have casual sex. So cool. That's allowed. But I get it that for a lot of people, her looking 10 is a big barrier. But other than that, in terms of forced community and parasitic symbiotic relationships, this is nothing. It's downright utopian for a Butler. I'm not even being facetious. I have read some messed up Butler. This is like I said, it's like its biggest issues actually have nothing to do with the parasitic relationships. Its big issues are actually intercommunity in the they're called Inna. So yeah, I liked it. I liked it much more than I anticipated. I liked the mystery element. Me liking a mystery element. Wild. I liked the amnesia plot. Again, also wild. Yeah, in general, I actually thought Shori was a very fun character to follow. I really liked her moral compass. I really liked how she learned, how she dealt with situations. I thought she was a fascinating lens to view this story through. So I liked Fledgling. Woo. My other thing, so I switched to then reading my audiobook as William Shakespeare Was a Woman and Other Heresies. And I almost DNF'd this, but then I didn't. And I think I only have an hour left. So I'm definitely going to finish it. And it has grown on me. Well, it's grown on me and it's like a nonfiction book. Sometimes you're more interested in certain chapters than others. So I think it's a fairly standard situation there. What I find fascinating, especially because I think she's doing a really good job of just laying out facts. Facts in terms of what we do know and what we don't know. We're not even discussing the theories. That's not even what I'm saying. But it's very clear to me, whether I believe any of these theories or not about who Shakespeare is, that we don't know enough to know who Shakespeare is. I know that based off of listening to this. And it's so interesting to me how not okay it is to question it. It's so interesting. And I hadn't even thought of, there are some connections in this nonfiction about how the role of the church was kind of used to help control the masses, especially in the 19th century, I think 19th century, maybe also 18th century. But I think primarily we're discussing 1800s. And then as the role of the church became less powerful, time moves on and different things control the masses, they're like, we need something else. So in England, we're going to say English literature. We're going to really value that. And honestly, I have wondered my whole life why we care so much about British literature in the United States, because we have not been a part of Britain since the 1700s. We just haven't. But we care a lot about British literature. And I think it stems from this point of when there was a huge emphasis that the common man learn about English, written English, and the value it has. And a big part of that is William Shakespeare. He is the figure. And the idea that William Shakespeare was a common man is a big part of the quote-unquote mythology of it all. Like, there is a man named William Shakespeare who was alive. Like, he was a real person, but he has no knowledge, and so the amount of basically metaphors and allusions and references he has in his plays kind of make no sense unless you believe in magic, which I don't. I would love to, but that's why I read fantasy books. And then also, like, what's really funny is, like, this myth, this legend that they build up for whatever reasons. Like, obviously, for some people it is pride, for some people it's greed. There's a whole list. Humans are going to be humans. But, like, and I've been to this place, because I remember I went to the UK and Ireland and Wales when I was, like, I don't know, 14, 13. I went on a trip then, and we did go to the birthplace of Shakespeare. Okay, let's just even say William Shakespeare, real person. Let's even say he wrote the plays. That William Shakespeare was not born there. Like, they know that house wasn't purchased till after he was alive. Like, they did not move there till he was, like, 10. And, like, they don't care. They don't care. They just, like, it's good for tourism. It makes people feel good inside, which is why, like, the allusion in the book of comparing, the rise of Shakespeare and, like, English literature as, a replacement for religion, it really does fit. And, like, why it's called, like, and people do talk about it like, are you a heretic? Like, that's a word people use when you, like, don't believe that William Shakespeare was the author of his plays. And I'm just like, this is wild. This is wild. Like, and maybe I'm just too much of a scientist for this, but, like, it is very clear to me that we do not know who wrote those plays. It is very clear to me. Like, I don't know which heretical theory I'll land on right now. I'm Earl of Ox. I think that's where I'm at. I have the most compelling case for Earl of Ox. That's where or Oxford or whatever. That's where I'm currently at. But, like, I don't actually care. What I care about is the stubbornness, the absolute stubbornness. So it's been interesting reading that. It's just astounding to me. But again, it's like any other nonfiction. Some chapters I find it more interesting than others. Okay, so that's my audiobook. And my physical read has been Swordheart. And I really am enjoying this, but we're in the third act breakup and I don't like it. So I put it down to film this video because I was, like, not having it. I was originally going to sit down, finish the book, then film this video. So I was like, and I have my finished thoughts. I was like, no, I'm too frustrated. And I'm just going to film the video. And next week, or when I do the wrap up, you'll get my final thoughts or whatever. I'm sure it'll be fine. Sometimes a third act breakup doesn't bother me. And sometimes it bothers me. And I find with T. Kingfisher, it bothers me. I think. Because I haven't read too many, I think, of her straight fantasy romances. I've read a lot of her fantasy romances that don't have a third act, like breakup sort of thing. And I like those infinitely more. Looking at you, Nettle and Bone. Looking at you, Byrony and Roses. I like you. You are great. Clockwork Boys with Wonder Engine. Didn't love that. Mainly because I just felt like it just felt too drawn out. Here, I've been liking the pacing of the relationship. The slow burn was slow burning. It was great. I liked the questiness. It was fun. I liked the stupid little adventures were going on. The horror elements are classic T. Kingfisher of, like, yeah, I didn't need that monster in my dreams. Thank you. Don't love that. And, like, it's so funny because if you think about it, if you just, like, write down in words what the monster looks like, you're like, why is this terrifying? It's like, oh, but it's terrifying. If I walk through a forest and I see those things, and if you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. It's like you walk through the forest and the sheets of glass, not okay. I'm not okay. So, largely enjoying the book. Love Halla. Halla's a fantastic character. She's not me, but I relate to a lot of her things. Asking questions both out of curiosity and as a defense mechanism, I'm here for it. That's very me. She's a fantastic protagonist. I believe she's in her late 30s, early 40s. Has always, like, I don't know. I think she's incredibly resourceful, which is why when she gets punished in the story for making a stupid mistake because she's angry, I get annoyed because it just feels like, oh, this is so the story can do its thing. And it just doesn't feel like it was in character. It just didn't feel right. So I'm frustrated. I know it'll be okay. I know. Right now I'm just frustrated. So you get to see that. I'm sure come wrap up, I'll be like, oh my God, another T. Kingfisher. It was so fun. Which, yes, it would have been. It is going to be. It had one of the best, like, they finally got together scenes I have ever read. It made me smile so much. The banter between Sarek and Halla, amazing. Like, right now, I'm frustrated by a tiny little thing. So that's coming across more than everything I have loved about reading this book. I just want you to know that. So much of this has been peak T. Kingfisher. Okay, I finally get to meet the Church of the Rat. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Ah, so good. All right, so what am I going to read next? That's a good question. I don't know what I'm doing. I think after I finish this, we're going to Toronto. And so I'll have 10 hours of reading time in the car. I don't know what I'll do. I have The Will to Battle, so I can bring that if I want a physical book. My problem with that is I don't have an ebook right now because I only have one of my libraries that has the ebook. And I'm first in line, but someone else is still reading it. Which, like, if you're in Boston and you follow my channel and you're reading that book, can you, like, return it real quick? I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding. I don't actually think that's what's happening right now. So I have the physical book of that I could read. I did actually just get the new Allie Hazelwood, so that's on my Kindle, which that would be fun. So that could be a good time. But I might save that for when we come home. I don't know. I have not committed. We'll see what my mood is. And then if the audiobook comes in, I would love to start Oathbringer. I'm ready. It's been a while since I've been in a Stormlight book. I'm ready to start this one because it's going to take me a minute because Oathbringer's so long. I'm not going to lie. The idea that Winds of Truth or whatever the frick the name of that 5th book's going to be, it's longer. Oof. Okay. I have limits. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I have limits. I have limits to what I can consume. So that's tentatively probably what the list is, I would think. Finish this Shakespeare book, maybe go to Oathbringer, finish Swordheart, maybe go to Will to Battle, or the new Allie Hazelwood, which is Not in Love. Is that the name of it? Unsure. But House of the Dragon is on Sunday. We finally finished the rewatch. Well, rewatch for me, first watch for Ryan. And I am like, how can you be Team Green? You can't. If you're Team Green, you're not my friend. Like, Rhaenyra's family is so much better. It's so much better. It's just where I am. Now, there is a whole discussion about, why do we care about these rich people? And the answer is we shouldn't. And I actually think the show makes a lot of compelling scenes and cases for why these rich people suck. But if I have to pick between one of the two rich people, I'm Rhaenyra all the way. And Daemon's never done anything wrong in his life, except always, but I forgive him every single time. And that's probably because he's Matt Smith. Like, Matt Smith endlessly surprises me because, like, he replaced my favorite doctor in Doctor Who. And, I know a lot of people, Matt Smith was their first doctor. They love Matt Smith. Fine, that's fine. He's not a bad doctor. I will never say he's a bad doctor. His episodes could have been better written once in a while, but that's not his fault. I love David Tennant. So to have David Tennant be replaced by Matt Smith, rough. Absolutely rough for me. But he made me like him. He had great episodes. Seasons 5 and 6, delightful. I could not stay awake for season 7, but 5 and 6, pretty good. A little, like I said, I don't like all the episodes, but that's not his fault. Loved him in The Crown. I'm pretty sure I only watched The Crown because he was in it because I kind of stopped watching The Crown when he was not in it. I really like Matt Smith as an actor, which I don't think I ever really knew, but he's very good. He's a very good actor. Well, and so is Emma Darcy. They are just killing it. Oh, they're so good. Like, I love a good kinetic actor, and their use of their body language is just phenomenal. Oh, amazing. Like, I can just tell their entire emotional experience in character without them having to say a word, and it's just stunning. Like, you don't see acting like that anymore. And I just watched Madam Web, and it's so bad. Oh, like, we knew it would be bad, right? Like, we knew. And that's why we, like, waited for a night where it's like, yeah, let's hate watch this. It's so bad. Like, and no knock to Hallmark movies. They are a special type of movie, but most actors and actresses in a Hallmark movie are not very good at acting or act. Like, I don't know, they don't feel right. It feels stilted. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. This is beyond stilted acting. It is beyond that. There's like a couple standout scenes, but for the most part, it makes no sense. The ADR is horrible. The acting's awful. What is the plot? Why is this a superhero movie without superheroes? Gets me. Like, sounds like a great idea, Sony. Sounds like what everyone's asking for. Like, it was really bad. So, having watched something the exact opposite of the House of Dragon, I can really speak to the fact that, like, when acting's good, it's good. It's really good. Anyways, it's rambling. You don't need to know all my video thoughts. It's just also stuff that I've consumed recently and had opinions on. Okay, let me know what you're reading, doing, watching. If you have opinions about what I should read, and if you know a bookstore I should go to in Toronto, leave that down below. Or if you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here. We did a vampire last week, so let's not do a vampire this week. Let's do a quill. Is there a quill for like Shakespeare? You know, even though I don't think the quill is canonically, like, I think that's another part of the legend, but like maybe either that or like a play sort of thing, like the theater faces. We can do that. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.